Here is another important thing with the select method that you can use with LINQ. So here you can see that the subfunction being executed here. So this is an inline function as part of this select method. And you can see the lambda operator here. And after the lambda operator, we've got the curly braces, which specify our function. So everything within these curly braces is our function. What we're doing is we're just printing a debug line and it returns the P object. What is the P object? It basically is a person object that we have here. So we've got James, Victoria, Mark, Taylor. So this select is being applied to all of them. So when we get this back here, this is then passed on to the next chained select method as part of LINQ. And then you can see here we are doing the transformation, but we're also printing the type of P variable that we have. So here this one returns the transformation, which either changes, this selects the name and changes that to uppercase, and then it changes it to a list here. So you can see an important thing going on here, which is when it does p.name.to upper, it will actually just return a string. So we at this point no longer have the original person object after this line is executed. The next line to list actually just is using only the name property and changing that to uppercase, and the age bit here is completely ignored. So here this is no longer the case now, included in the new object that is being generated. So if I run this code, what you can see is, so you can see in the final result we do have James here, we do have Mark here changed to an uppercase lettering. And what is important is you can see I have done a debug line just before this return line, which changes the type, and you can see the type is a person for Mark, and you can see for in a step further above change the person object P here to a new object. So we can see I've commented out these lines, but if I remove the P there, now remember at this point we've got the person, but if I now activate this line, and you can see we're creating a new object and we are still transferring the two properties. So these two properties are still valid and can be used, for example, here to change name to upper. But what data type would we get? Previously we have gotten person. So if I run this code here now, what you will actually get is an anonymous type here. So you can see we've got anonymous type for Mark and also for James. You can see James is here and you can see we've got anonymous type. So what we've learned here is as part of the select method, you can actually using the lambda operator and an inline function or an anonymous function that doesn't really have a name, and you can return a new type by just using the new keyword without specifying its class, and it will give you an anonymous type. And then you can use that as long as the original property that is used later on is still valid, like in this case name is still valid, then your code will continue to work, but it changes the data type from the original person to an anonymous type over here. In some instances you can see here the key.name to upper changes that even further to just hold the name string only, so it even ignores the age at this point. So this is where we are transforming the object that was originally a person class here, and we are changing that to a new anonymous, and then later on we are changing it once again this to a string object, and then that gets changed into a list. So this shows you how LINQ can be used to manipulate the data type of an object and how it changes throughout the different transformations that you apply, such as here, or here, and here.